Level 1. The Sayan. You are not in Israel. You are in London or Paris or Toronto, living a completely ordinary life. You have a job, a family, a kitchen with a calendar on the wall. Then your phone rings. A calm voice asks a favor, nothing dramatic. Can you rent a car in cash for a man arriving Thursday? You say yes. You don't ask who the man is. You were told not to. You are a Sayan, a helper. You are part of a global network of Jewish civilians abroad who support Mosaad operations out of loyalty to Israel. There are thousands of you. You provide safe houses, cash, documentation, access through your profession. A doctor sign treats a wounded operative and files no paperwork. A banker sign moves money through accounts that don't attract questions. You do your piece and you wait to be needed again. The Katsa who recruited you visits every few months. He tells you only what your specific role requires. Nothing more. He calls you. You don't call him. You are activated, not consulted. The catch is this. If the operation fails, you are the first exposure. You are liable under the laws of your country. Mosaad pays only your expenses, never your risk. You serve an institution that will deny your existence if it becomes convenient. You fold the rental agreement into your coat pocket and walk back to your regular life, and the man who needed the car never looks back. Level 2. The Bodel. You are young, Israeli, recently out of university. You have been vetted. Your background, your family, your loyalties checked by people you never met. Now, you are a Bodel, a gopher, and your office is a parked car on a dark street at 2 a.m. You have a notebook and a pen. You write down every person who enters the hotel across the street. The time, the description, the direction they came from. You have been here since 8 p.m. You are on your 4th coffee. Nothing about this feels like espionage. It feels like the most boring job on earth, except that you understand. Somewhere underneath the boredom, that the information in your notebook matters to someone who matters enormously. At dawn, you drive across the city and hand the notebook to a man in a cafe. He reads it without acknowledging you. He doesn't introduce himself. He doesn't offer you coffee. He reads for 30 seconds, nods once, and slides the notebook into his jacket. That nod is your entire performance review. You drive home, you sleep, you do it again. The catch is that you know enough to be arrested and not enough to understand why. If something goes wrong on the operation you're supporting, you are the expendable buffer. But you came back. The Katsa noticed, and one day an invitation arrives as something that doesn't have a name on the envelope. Level 3, the Midrasha Trainee. You pass through a gate outside Herzliya. The campus on the other side is the Mosaad Training Academy, the Midrasha. It is also officially the summer residence of the Israeli Prime Minister. Nobody explains the symbolism. You understand it anyway. You will spend the next 3 years here becoming someone else. Not a character, not a costume. Someone else entirely and convincingly. They put a false name on a file with your photograph. They give you a backstory down to the neighborhood you grew up in, the school you attended, the uncle who died. You memorize it. Then they send you into the city and tell you to befriend a man you've never met. He doesn't know he's part of an exercise. You have 2 weeks. Your instructors watch you every day. Some of the tests you are not told are tests. You learn surveillance detection. How to know if you're being followed by the pattern of strangers, the same shoes appearing twice, the newspaper held at the wrong angle. You learn dead drops, clandestine communication, recruitment psychology. You learn that the most dangerous weapon in this profession is patience. The catch is what the training costs you underneath the tradecraft. You become so fluent in false selves that your real one starts to feel like another cover. You walk out 3 years later carrying 4 names, 2 nationalities, and a silence that no one outside this building will ever fully understand. Level 4, the Katsa. There are roughly 30 of you operating worldwide at any given time. 30. The CIA runs hundreds of case officers. You run agents the way a surgeon operates, with absolute precision and the full understanding that an error doesn't just cost the mission. It costs the person you recruited, the person who trusted you, the person whose family will be told nothing. You are in Vienna tonight, or Beirut, or the lobby of a conference hotel in a city whose name you'll never use in writing. You are having dinner with a man who believes you are a German businessman with interests in regional infrastructure. You met 6 months ago at a conference. You've spoken 12 times since then. He trusts you. He told you something tonight about a weapons program that does not officially exist, and you listen with the relaxed attention of a friend, and you are recording everything. This is the core of your work. Not running, not fighting, owning people's trust, finding the fracture lines in a person, their ambitions, their grievances, their fear, and building a relationship precisely along those lines until the person is yours. The catch is the cost of living this way. You have no permanent home, no real friendships outside the institution. You love your cover so deeply you sometimes confuse it with yourself. And if the person across the dinner table is ever arrested, it is not you who goes to prison. It is them. You are already on another flight, under another name, becoming someone else again. Level 5, the Caesarea Operative. A Katsa collects intelligence. You act on it. You are the end of the chain. Recruited from the IDF's elite special forces. Selected because you can operate deep inside hostile territory without a net, without backup visible to the naked eye, without the option of failure that doesn't cost everything. You are in a safe house tonight. 4 bare walls, a laptop, a photograph taped to the table. You have studied that photograph for 11 sessions. You know the man's walk, his schedule, the car he uses, the gap between the guard rotation and the parking garage camera. Tonight is the 12th session, and then there are no more sessions. Your cell has 4 people: reconnaissance, logistics, support, and you. The roles have code names. You use them even with each other. The operation received prime ministerial authorization 2 days ago. That authorization will never appear in a public document. If something goes wrong, Israel will express no knowledge of you. You accepted this condition. You accepted it clearly, with full understanding, the day you took the assignment. The catch is that you live in a permanent parenthesis. Your parents think you work in defense administration. Your partner knows not to ask. The operation will make the international news tomorrow. Unknown assailants. No country claims responsibility. And you will be eating breakfast in a different country under a different name, reading the headline like a stranger who has nothing to do with it. Level 6, the Kidon commander. You don't go in anymore. You send people in. You are the commander of a Kidon cell, the most secretive unit within the most secretive division of Mosaad. Kidon means bayonet in Hebrew. You are the tip of a very long spear, and you decide where it lands. You stand in a room with no windows. Maps cover every surface. You have marked every camera, every guard rotation, every exit route with a color-coded system only your cell understands. 4 people sit across from you. They use code names even with you because that is the protocol. Yet compartmentalization so total that if any one of them is taken, they cannot give up what they don't know. You brief them one final time. You ask if anyone has questions. No one does. They leave. You stay. Your job now is the hardest part. You wait. You listen to the secure channel. A guard appears who wasn't on the schedule. You have 12 seconds to decide. You say, adapt. They adapt. This time it works. The catch lives in the ones that didn't work. The Lillehammer affair, 1973, when a Kidon team killed the wrong man in Norway, an innocent waiter, is the ghost every Kidon commander carries. You know the weight of that error. You design every operation knowing that certainty is a thing you build carefully, and that it can still, in the end, be wrong. You receive a one-word message. You close the map. Your hand is completely steady. Level 7. The Zomet Division Chief. Every morning a locked briefcase arrives on your desk. Inside are field reports from Katsa's operating across 3 geographic branches, the Middle East and North Africa, Western Europe, and everywhere else. The reports cover information obtained through methods that cannot be described in writing. You read them all before 7 a.m. Zomet is the intelligence gathering engine of the entire organization. It is the largest division. You run it. Every Katsa in the world is your instrument. Every Sayanim contact they manage flows upward through your division. When a Katsa in Tehran sends a report suggesting a foreign nuclear program is 6 months ahead of the international timeline, it lands on your desk before it reaches the director. You decide what is credible. You decide what goes up the chain and what gets buried as noise. The intelligence picture you hold is more complete than almost any individual person on Earth possesses, including most heads of state. That sounds like power. It is power. The catch is what living inside this much information does to a person. You have spent decades watching enemies deceive your best people, watching trusted assets turn, watching certain intelligence prove false at the worst possible moment. You no longer take anything at face value. Not reports, not colleagues, not allies. This is not pathology. This is calibration. But you carry it everywhere, including home, including at the dinner table, including when your children tell you something happened at school and some part of your mind quietly and automatically begins assessing for inconsistencies. Level 8, the Deputy Director. 2 phones on your desk, one for internal operations, one for the Prime Minister's office. This morning they rang simultaneously. You are the operational brain of Mosaad. The director sets the vision. You run the machine. All division chiefs report to you. Every active operation, every agent in the field, every Kidon cell deployed, every crisis developing in real time passes through your office before it reaches the director. That means that every morning you are managing catastrophes. No one outside this building knows are happening. Today, a Katsa in a hostile state may have been compromised. A Caesarea team in Europe has hit an unplanned variable, and an Allied intelligence service is formally inquiring about an incident that made 3 international newspapers. You handle all 3 before 9 a.m. You brief the director at noon. He asks 2 questions. You have answers for both. The catch is structural, and you understood it the day you accepted the appointment. You are the insulation layer. When Mossad makes a catastrophic error, and across 75 years of operations it has made several, the deputy director's career is the first thing the institution protects itself with. You absorb the consequence so the director remains operational, so the director can protect the prime minister, so the chain holds. You are indispensable right up until the moment you become useful as a sacrifice. You know this. You stay anyway. Level 9. The director. Rosh HaMossad. Nothing about you is visible. No badge. No uniform. No nameplate. Your name was a state secret until 1996. Even now, when your appointment is announced, it is announced quietly, and the details of what you actually do remain entirely classified, permanently, without appeal or exception. You sit across from the Prime Minister. On the table between you is a single piece of paper. He reads it. You explain, without notes, without hesitation, the intelligence case, the operational plan, the political exposure, and the risk of inaction. He signs. This is the only oversight your organization requires. 1 signature, 1 room. No committee, no parliament, no judicial review. You answer to this man and no one else on earth. You run 7,000 people across 6 continents. You manage back-channel diplomatic relationships with governments that cannot officially acknowledge Israel's existence. In recent years, Mossad has done more to reshape the Arab world's relationship with Israel than the foreign ministry has managed in decades. You fly to capitals under assumed names. You negotiate agreements that will surface years later as political breakthroughs that no one can trace back to a hotel room. The catch is what they never tell you at level 1. You cannot walk into a restaurant without a security perimeter. You cannot attend ordinary family events without threat assessment. You are the most protected person in Israel, which is another way of saying you are never, not for a single hour, alone or free. When your term ends, there is no ceremony. You hand your successor the briefing book, every active operation, every buried secret, every name that can never be spoken, and you walk out of the building. A car takes you home. You sit in your garden. You say nothing. You know everything. You will carry it in silence for the rest of your life. There is no version of this job that ends in anything resembling peace. You understood that at the beginning. You chose it anyway. Or perhaps, like all the levels before it, it chose you.